So my preferred browser is Vivaldi. If you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know that I like Vivaldi an absurd amount. I talk about it quite often, and I think that it's a great browser, and for many different reasons. But one of those reasons that I really like it is that it's highly customizable. One of the things that you can do is move the tabs to any of the four sides. You can left, right, top, bottom, whatever. It doesn't matter. And other browsers don't do that. Others have ways of doing it, but none of them are either particularly built in or done particularly well. So I like the ability to customize my browser. I will go through and change things up from time to time. Sometimes my address bars are at the top, sometimes it's at the bottom, sometimes the tabs are at the top, sometimes they're at the bottom. But one area where they never are is on the left or right side. Now, I have tried vertical tabs before, and I can understand the appeal. They look cool. And if you only use a few tabs, they are just as functional as tabs that go along the horizontal. They are good, but they aren't for me. And one of the reasons why is that despite the fact that I'm no longer a tab hoarder, I still oftentimes have many tabs open, and a lot of those tabs are usually from the same website, which means they have the same favicon or whatever the hell you call it. They have the same little icon that appears in the tab, and that means that I can have like 4 or 5 different like YouTube videos open at the same time. If I'm taking a class or doing some research or something, I'll have all those right there. And how do I know which one to click on? Because they're all exactly the same. You're usually running right after another. And that's why vertical tabs just aren't for me. It really makes it hard for me to figure out what I have open. Now, in Vivaldi and other browsers that have vertical tabs, you can hover over a tab and it will kind of give you a preview of it, and then you can obviously know what's in the tab, but that adds an extra step other than just being able to see what the title of the web page is. So the reason why I don't use vertical tabs is pretty simple, is that it just makes it too hard for me to figure out what I have open. Now, like I said, I have tried vertical tabs in the past, and one of the ways I tried to get around my problem was to be more organized with my tabs. I'd have all of the tabs that I need into a tab stack, which is another thing that Vivaldi does, and it allowed me to more easily kind of combine things that are for a certain project. So I know if I need to open up a tab for the thing that I'm doing right now, I just go to that tab stack and just spend my time in there. But it didn't really help. I was still just mightily confused all the time on what I had, and I was always having to hover over the tab in order to figure out what was actually there and where I needed to go. Now, one area where I think I could improve if I were to try vertical tabs again was to basically remove the mouse from the equation completely. Use the Alt number scheme in order to move between tabs, and I think that might get me to the point where I could use them and, be happy about it, but it'd still require me to kind of remember what position each tab is in. And the fact that websites change all the time in those tabs would be a little bit harder. Now, Vivaldi also does have something called Alt tab. Might be Control tab. I never use it, so I can't really remember which it is. But basically, it's the Alt tab version of your task switcher in like GNOME or KDE, but for tabs. And I could use that to switch between tabs, and that could lead me to being able to use vertical tabs. So the reason why I made this video is because someone asked me to take a look at Zen Browser again. Now, I made a video about Zen Browser 4 or 5 months ago or so, maybe not that long ago, it was a few months ago, and it was overall a good browser, but one of my complaints was that it had vertical tabs and there was no way to get rid of the vertical tabs, and the developers had no interest in getting rid of the vertical tabs, right? It was just, that's the way they wanted to do the browser, which is fine. But, for me personally, vertical tabs just wasn't going to cut it. It's not something that I can deal with given how I use my browser. So when I went back to try Zen Browser, because people have said it's gotten better over the course of the last few months since I tried it, I still had that same problem, and it's just there's no getting past it. So I wanted to make a video talking about why I can't do vertical tabs. Now, just a little bit on Zen Browser, because I'm not going to make a dedicated video about it because I don't want to trash it again. Honestly, my biggest problem isn't the vertical tabs anymore. Like, whatever. Like, that's not the big problem. It's a problem, but it's not the big problem. For me, personally, I use workspaces like I breathe air. Workspaces on Vivaldi is one of the premier features. I love to be able, even though I'm not a tab hoarder anymore, or at least not as big a one, I like to keep all of my projects and situations all in workspaces. And that means that, all my work stuff is one workspace. All of the stuff I'm saving for reading or I'm in the process of reading is in one workspace. I have a main workspace where I just kind of do general stuff. I have stuff for research and programming and all sorts of stuff, all dedicated workspaces. I also use multiple instances of my browser. So I have one browser on one workspace where I do most of my work, and then I have another browser where I have like Discord and Statuzer for Mastodon and Blue Sky, all in another browser instance on another workspace. The problem with Zen is that workspaces are instance specific. What that means is that if I have workspaces in instance 1, and then I open up another instance, I can't actually switch to a workspace that I created in instance 1. The workspaces aren't transferable. They're not consistent across different instances of the browser. And that is just a complete deal breaker to me. It's just this. I don't want to call it stupid, but it's stupid. It's just not the way workspaces should work, and the developers seem to be pretty set on making it work that way. So Zen Browser, just not for me. But that's beside the point. So I wanted to just do a very quick video on why I can't do vertical tabs, but also why I decided I needed to make this video. So that's it for this one. Very, very short and sweet. So if you have any comments on this, leave those in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. You can follow me on Mastodon. That link will be in the video description. You can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/linuxcast. You can also support me on YouTube or Ko-fi. Those links will be in the video description. I believe there's also a link for LiberaPay down there as well. If there's not, I'll try to add it again, because I do still have a LiberaPay account, so you can check that out as well. Thanks to everybody who does support me on Patreon and YouTube. You guys are all absolutely amazing. Without you, the channel just would not be anywhere near where it is right now. So thank you so very, very much for your support. I truly, honestly do appreciate it. If you too would like to support me, Patreon at patreon.com/linuxcast. I'd love to see you over there. I do weekly exclusive podcasts for my patrons over there. Also on YouTube, if you want to support me there. You can hear me ramble for 15 or 20 minutes about random stuff, mostly Linux related, sometimes not, whatever it is. I just put that out weekly. It's exclusive to those guys, so check that out as well. So thanks everybody for your support. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.